Previously on Big Brother. What's up, guys? Seth here, one half of the SoCo Show. The So-host, as Cody likes to say. And I'm here. We talked a little bit just a couple days ago on the podcast to talk about Big Brother on a weekly basis. We talked about a little bit. I am a big Big Brother fan, or a huge Big Brother fan. And I don't have many people to talk about it with, so I decided that I want to talk about it in a short podcast we can put up. You may be hearing this on the YouTube channel. You may be hearing this on the regular podcast feed where you hear the SoCo Show. And yeah, this is what I want to talk about a little bit about one thing I really, really love. It's one of my favorite summer occurrences, something that happens every year. It's been happening for 21 seasons now, and a little bit more than that, actually, because of some other things that have gone on, partial seasons and things like that, some celebrity seasons. But for those who have never who've never watched Big Brother, or who have never watched it in the past and kind of fallen off, I do want to talk about it a little bit and go over some of the things I love about it, kind of go over the basics of the game in case you are new to it and want to learn some of the rules, or want to go a little more in depth and jump back into it, or jump into it in the first place. So I'm going to go over a little bit about Big Brother and kind of give some of my thoughts on the show. And I was thinking about talking about some of the new players that are coming up. They've released some of the descriptions and bios and pictures and some short videos. Honestly, there's just not a whole lot to know about these people yet. You really don't get a sense of how they're going to be in the game until you get towards the latter episodes of the first week, and when you start seeing things happen. So I want to talk about a little bit about Big Brother and just go over the basics of it, and again, give some thoughts. So really what Big Brother is as I mentioned on the SoCo Show this week. If you don't listen to the SoCo Show, you somehow stumbled upon this, please go back and give a listen to the SoCo Show. We talk about TV, movies, all kinds of pop culture stuff, mostly movies. But I did mention on the SoCo Show this week, the Big Brother game, the show, is a game of human chess. We have 16, they confirmed this year, 16 house guests who compete, competitors who go in the house for usually 90 days or so. It's from June until September. They compete, go in the house, and try and be the last one in the house, essentially. Each week, usually have two, sometimes seasons change, and that's the thing about Big Brother, is they say expect the unexpected. And so they try and they like to throw in little twists into the game. You'll hear a lot about the twists this season. There are all these twists, and so there's going to be some sort of twist. In the past, there have been twists like 3 people on the block, or three people who are nominated for eviction. I'll just go into that a little bit here real quick too. So the base of the game: each week, 2 players are nominated to be evicted from the house. Of those 2 players, 1 gets voted out by the end of the week. Those players are nominated by the head of household. The head of household is the person who is in charge, who has the most power for the week. They're the player who runs the show for 1 week. And for that week, so again, they decide who goes on the block or up for eviction. On the block is basically a synonym for being on eviction, up for eviction. And you'll hear a lot through the show. I won't be able to get to them all, but there are a ton of synonyms when it comes to Big Brother. Over the 20 years, people come up with a different lingo. So if that comes up, if I say things, for those who are listening, please let me know, and I can explain more. If there's anything that anyone wants to know, just please ask. I will definitely explain it, because again, I love talking about Big Brother. So again, the head of household, that's really the most important thing every week, is the person who's the head of household. Again, there'll be the nominations for eviction, and then there's one other competition that happens every week until the end, and that's the power of veto. And what that is, the power of veto is the 2 people are on the block up for eviction, and the head of household compete with 3 other players. They're always selected by random draw. They go do this little ceremony thing where they stand up in front of the room, pull a chip out of a box, and it has a name, or it says house guest choice. If they pick their own name, they can choose their own player to come up there with them. That becomes important, and I'll explain that in a little bit. But that's the other competition. So usually the structure of the show is 3 nights a week. I believe that this year, or this season, starts on a Tuesday or Wednesday. Usually the structure, I can't remember, unfortunately. I'll know that night because I'm very excited for it. But I'll know the couple nights before even, because I'm very excited. But usually the structure of it is the Big Brother week essentially starts on Sunday and ends on Thursday, starts on Sunday. And what the Sunday episode usually is, and it's going to be a little bit different for the first few weeks. So if you tune into the show, into Big Brother, and honestly, I should just preface with this. Big Brother, the first couple weeks, it's really hard to grasp what the game is because it's just so crazy. There's so many people. Things are really starting to come together. So if you're going to give this a shot, give Big Brother a shot, give it 2 to 3 weeks. And I know it's a lot of commitment. That's 6 to 9 hours, and that can be a lot to take in, but it's really worth it in the long run. So again, starts on Sunday. Usually in the season, what that show is going to be your nomination show where they put up the 2 players for eviction. And it's usually a little bit slower of a show because it's the transition from the previous head of household. So the Thursday show is the end of the Big Brother week. That is the head of house. That's where the person gets evicted, and it's usually a live show. So they'll have Julie Chen, who's the host of Big Brother. She says Julie Chen Moonves, but she'll always be Julie Chen in my heart. And so Julie is there. They have a live thing. It's all live television for Thursday normally, and they have kind of little wrap-up segments from the week leading to who's going to be evicted from the show. They kind of give those ideas. A lot of people will promise certain things. Oh, you're not getting evicted, or you are getting evicted. You should prepare. And they will kind of edit those towards which way it's going to go, but they always kind of leave a little bit of hint. There's always a little bit of a shred of doubt for that person, or sometimes it's just 50-50 and you don't know until the show starts. But that's Thursday, and then usually they'll end Thursday with either they crown a new head of household, a new head of household is won through some sort of competition, and then the Sunday show will sometimes be the results of the head of household depending on the type of challenge. Usually with the head of household, there's 2 types of challenges. There's usually like a puzzle of some kind. Excuse me, there's probably 3 usually. There's usually a puzzle of some kind. Not a puzzle, a quiz competition of some kind. So they'll usually have like a block in front of them that has like an A or B on it. They'll switch it, or true or false, and they'll switch it back and forth. An endurance competition, which those are the ones that go into Sunday, and that's when you usually find the results. So usually the question and answer you find out right away, or sometimes there'll be like a skill game, like they have to shoot a ball into something or something like that. Every year they do a really, really good job of switching up competitions. You will sometimes see recycled competitions, but if there's a year-long break in between the show, they usually have a really good mix of old and new. So again, that's Thursday. Sunday is the results. Usually some kind of like fallout, what happened. They figure out if something, someone lied about something or whatever. And then they'll have the nominees. And then on Tuesday, it's usually Tuesday or Wednesday, is the veto show. And so again, that's where they can take themselves off the block. Again, a little bit more, that's kind of where a lot of the meat happens of the show, because again, they know who's on the block, and now they're really, really gunning for certain people, and they're really fighting hard to stay. And so they have the veto competition. You find out who wins the veto in that episode, and then the power of veto, they can pull themselves off. One kind of caveat with that is that the power of veto, whoever wins it, if they choose to use it, because they can choose not to use it, they can say, okay, nope, don't want to use this power. If they choose to use it and take someone off the block, that person is also safe. So, for example, if Cody and I were playing Big Brother, and I was on the block, Cody won the power of veto, he could choose to pull me off the block if we were in an alliance together, and I'll come back to that. If we were in an alliance together, he could choose to pull me off the block. He would be safe. He couldn't go up. So for the week, we're good. And that's usually what happens on Tuesday. And then, again, going into Thursday, there's a little bit of fallout from that. And then you have the live eviction and then HOH. That's kind of the general structure. Sometimes there's things thrown in and out there. There's sometimes double eviction weeks, which are super fun. It's the entire week of Big Brother all in one night, which is a lot of fun. So, as I mentioned just a second ago, alliances. There are a lot of different little nuances that are not like official parts of the game, but it's just part of the human chess and gameplay. And that the main one is an alliance. If you're in the game of Big Brother, you have to have an alliance. You have to have people you're close with that you are going to go with till the end. Usually with an alliance, what you'll see within the first week, someone wins the head of household the first night, or the second night, depending on the structure. And you do not want to win that night. And you do not want to win head of household. You will see, I would say about 75% of the players just step back and say they don't want to win it, especially if they're Big Brother super fans. You'll hear that a lot, quote unquote, Big Brother super fans. I would be in that category if I were to go on the show. So those are the people, they don't want to win. About 75% of the people don't want to win the head of household because that puts a huge target on you. Then you'll hear another 25% say, I want to win it and show my power. Those are the dumb people. They're usually going to get voted out right away. But they win it and they create an alliance around them. So usually what you'll see, so this year is 16. My guess is what you'll see is a group of probably 6 people. I'd say no, probably. You probably see a group of 7 people, a group of 6 people, and then a group of like 3 people who are referred to as the floaters. Those are the people who never go into any alliances. They're kind of just there. They're very important though, because the 2 alliances then, there'll be the bigger group of 7 who is probably in power for the head of household, and there's the group of 6. They're usually the more solid group because they've kind of come together and stayed away from the power, but they realize that they should have the power. So there's kind of that struggle. And then the floaters. The floaters will come in and be the swing votes in a lot of areas, and then the floaters do end up staying for a while. A couple seasons ago, there's a girl named Sam who made it to almost the end. Maybe even last year. It was last year. A girl named Sam who made it to almost to the end being a floater because she was a swing vote, and then she was like an extra number in different alliances. So floaters do have value. They never really win. I can only think of once or twice that they won, but they do have some value when it comes to the game. So you'll see that. Again, the big alliances, usually the powerful people, the person who wins head of household is gone within 2 to 3 weeks because they usually the most egotistical and usually the most power hungry. And when you put that target on your back right away, people want you out. So you'll see that form right up front. And more than likely, you'll see at least a couple people say in the first episode, I don't want to win that. And it's kind of funny. There's a whole bunch of other stuff, and I know I'm kind of coming up on time here, but that's kind of the basic structure of the game. There's going to be a lot of different again terms and little different things that come up, and it's hard to kind of articulate in a short amount of time right now. But as they come up, I will definitely bring it up on the show. This will be much more of a kind of a softer, broader outlook of the show. I'm not going to go too in depth about any one thing unless something crazy comes up and I dedicate the whole episode to that. But there's been a lot of really cool things in Big Brother. I know I'm missing a bunch of things. Like I said, I've kind of looked at the people so far, and the only person that stuck out to me, just reading based off of their likes in the past of the game, is Cliff Hogg the Third, and it's because his favorite players are 2 of my favorite players that I've ever played. And so for those who have watched Big Brother or do watch Big Brother has, to me, 3 really great players. Well, there's probably 5 or 6 really great players, but the 3 best of all time in my mind, the number 1 is Dan Giesling. He won Big Brother 10 and then came back and finished second in Big Brother 14. Big Brother 10, and I believe that's his season, was my favorite season. He was great. Derek Lavoisier is number 2. He won Big Brother 16, I believe, and he did it in a very similar fashion to Dan. Dan played a game where he was very respectful, but also very strategic. He had one player, and this is the strategy I prefer. So if we see this strategy in the season, that's who I'm going to be looking for, where they pick one person that this is my ride or die, and you'll hear that a lot. My ride or die in this show. He picked one ride or die named Memphis Garrett. They went to the end. They were final 2, the only final 2 that has really done this successfully. Dan never went on the block and won the game, and it was awesome. He did a really good job. Derek did a similar strategy as well. And then number 3 is a guy who's never won it for me, but he made it to the end twice. The only other player besides Dan to do that, and that's Paul Abrahamson. He was season 19 and 18. Made it to the end twice. And he was really, really good at stirring the pot. The first season he was on, he kind of floated through a bit and made it to a good point. Had a good argument at the end. The season after that, he ran the entire house, played a really dirty game. That's one thing that you'll kind of see. The game in the past used to be respected about gameplay, big moves, backstabbing, things like that. But now it is a lot more. You have to please people, and that last season that happened too. A person who she was a competition beast for sure. Played a pretty decent social game. Lost to the person who made all of the big moves in the house, and he was the guy that I picked to win kind of from the beginning because of the moves he was making. But unfortunately, it just didn't happen that way. But again, I'm very excited. I cannot wait for Big Brother to start. It's going to be, I think it's going to be a really fun season, just kind of reading the different personalities. A lot of these people have never played before. It seemed like a good 25% had never watched before. The rest kind of had some good modeling after that they want to go for in terms of the players. But I'm excited. I cannot wait for this to start. This will drop every Saturday, hopefully, early on in the day, and then Sunday, again, the new Big Brother season starts. So look out for the first official episode. We have the 2-night premiere next week. That'll kind of kick off things. I'll give my first impressions for the first 2 episodes, and we'll go from there. So thank you guys for listening. If you just stumbled upon this because you're a Big Brother fan, please go check out the SoCo Show. We drop that every week on Thursday, and we got some exciting things coming up too with some extra shows. If you're a SoCo Show fan, thanks for tuning into this. I appreciate it. Again, please, if you're just a SoCo fan of the original show or the normal show, please check out Big Brother. I know it's a lot of time commitment. I really hope you check it out. It's a really fun game of human chess, and there's a lot of backstabbing. I didn't even get into all that. There's a ton of backstabbing. There's a ton of things called like back doors. I know it sounds weird, but that's when someone's on the block and someone purposely wins a veto to take it. Someone purposely wins the head of household, doesn't put that person up for eviction, and then uses a power of veto to take a person off the block and put that other guy up. That's their target initially. I know I explained that weird, but their target initially wasn't put on the block because they wanted to just not give them the chance to play in the power veto. And so they backdoor them, and the entire time they knew they wanted them out, and they don't even get that person a chance to compete at all. So that kind of stuff. There's a lot of really dirty, shady moves. It's a lot of fun. It's again a human chess game with a little bit of back alley tomfoolery. So again, please check it out. Please check out all of the SoCo shows that we have to offer, SoCo productions we have to offer. And again, thank you for checking it out. So hopefully I will be able to talk to you guys, through online or whatever about Big Brother. But if not, just, I'm excited to talk into a microphone by myself. So again, thanks guys. And I'll see you next week. Previously on Big Brother.